Hi, today myself and Max, Min, Han, and Annie will be presenting about the Fire Festival action plan we have created to resolve the issues that occurred during the incident. Our recommendation for the action plan consists of managerial control and financial management. The Fire Festival incident demonstrated that managerial control is essential to have a successful outcome. McFarlane is a prime example of a manager that has failed to take into consideration the importance of managerial control. His insufficient preparation included an event venue, as he chose to host the event at a private island owned by a drug lord, which came with safety concerns and basic infrastructure. A recommendation to overcome this issue is to apply the control process method, which is a three-step management method to compare the actual performance with standard performance. Another issue McFarlane encountered was scarcity of money. He had to keep track of every transaction he has made and the amount of money required to set up a large-scale event such as the Fire Festival. According to McFarlane's employee, he had always made his payment through cash or through wire transfer, hence there is no record of any transaction. A recommendation that can be implemented to solve this issue is to create a finance department to monitor cash inflow and outflow for the business. Consequently, it results in McFarlane being able to oversee the cash he has available to spend on other expenses and pay any liabilities that is owed to other investors. Now I'll pass it on to Max to talk to you about the steps that need to be carried out.
So this is the how part of the action plan, as this part will look at the exact tasks that need to be carried out for the fire festival situation. So first off, we look at managerial control, and we look at the steps that need to be carried out to ensure the success of the fire festival. So first off, McFarlane needs to monitor the actual performance by examining statistical reports, oral reports, and personal observation to measure the general outcome. It is vital for McFarlane to monitor these reports, as it will give him a strong insight into what parts of planning are working well and what parts are not. And so therefore, he can strengthen the strong parts and focus heavily on overturning the weaknesses, which he will be able to analyze and locate throughout these reports. Secondly, McFarlane needs to make comparison between the ideal results and the actual outcome to determine if managerial intervention is truly required. McFarlane needs to ensure that he budgets every single one of his goals. McFarlane should be looking to make predictions of how he would want things to be, for example, how much money he will spend, and then compare these results to the actual outcome, and do this regularly to ensure efficiency and effectiveness over the course of the festival. And thirdly, managerial action needs to be took to improve the actual performance of the festival and all the planning in general. McFarlane must ensure he does not just analyze stats and record them, but he must act on them. When things need changing, they should be changed, and he should work to overturn as many weaknesses as possible to ensure that the entire event is successful and smooth, and catch the issues at hand earlier rather than later, and make these changes to ensure that the festival has mitigated as many possible issues as possible. In terms of the financial aspects of the Fire Festival, the tasks that need to be carried out to ensure the financial success of the Fire Festival include visiting an accountant or business advisor to discuss the business's current financial situation. They can help provide strategies to increase cash inflow or suggest alternative approaches to acquire funds by themselves. Secondly, it is vital that Fire Festival and McFarlane create a finance department consisting of multiple professionals that possess the knowledge and experience to oversee the Fire Festival and assess the current financial situation. McFarlane personally should visit potential investors to persuade them into investing into the Fire Festival. However, this time, McFarlane should inform them of the rewards and the risks associated with this venture instead of deceiving the investors. That way, if the investors have full knowledge of what is going on and what the potential rewards are for them or the potential risks are, they will see Fire Festival McFarlane as upfront and honest, and if they can outweigh the positives over the negatives, then they will be more likely to invest. And finally, reducing expenses, such as instead of hiring a Michelin-starred chef, they could hire a celebrity chef like Heston Blumenthal. Also, for the accommodation, economy customers can stay in a cottage-like house, whilst premium customers will be able to live inside a beachfront villa.
People who will be in charge of carrying out each task who managerial control. McFarlane will be responsible for carrying out the task due to the work requiring a managerial personnel to oversee and innovate if required during the control process. Financial. Task 1. McFarlane should visit the accountant or business advisor to seek recommendation on how to manage his current funds and how to generate cash inflow to support the Fire Festival. Task 2. McFarlane needs to find suitable candidates to be a chief financial officer and head of finance. Then McFarlane, the CFO and head of finance, can begin to interview other applicants that are needed in the finance department, such as accountant, budget analysis, finance controller. Task 3. McFarlane personally visiting potential investors and inform of the risk and reward of investing into the Fire Festival. Task 4. Purchase analysis will be responsible for the reducing in spend. Purchase analysis have the task to maintain a balanced purchase to ensure they have enough funds for other expense. Also, the head of finance will be responsible to ensure they have no error and to report it to the CFO.
So with the steps of the action plan sorted out, we now need to sort out exactly when and where these are going to take place. So in terms of the management ones, step one was the examining statistical reports, oral reports, and personal observation to ensure there are no issues. This should occur at 5 Media HQ, and this should occur monthly. Occurring monthly is a really good way to ensure that the reports are frequent, not too frequent, but you've got a really good analysis of exactly what's happening with the business and where the festival is going in terms of management processes and finances and whatnot. The second step is comparing ideal results with actual results. This should also occur at the Fire Media headquarters, and this should also occur monthly. Along with the reports, monthly is a really good, frequent way to ensure the business is on track. And thirdly, managerial intervention, if required, should occur at Fire Media HQ, and that should occur monthly as well. In taking managerial action is important, so it is. So once all the analysis is in, the action should be taken straight away. And in terms of the finances, the first step was to visit an accountant or business advisor firm. This should happen at the start of the year. If we're looking at a 12-month plan, around January, straight away, straight off the bat, and understanding, getting some advice and understanding exactly where to go financially. The second part was to hold interviews and create a finance department. And this should occur at Fire Media headquarters in early January, early February, if we're looking at it at a 12-month scale. The third part was to meet with investors. It is important to meet with investors at their firms to ensure McFarlane shows himself as invested in the people who are possibly going to invest in his business and his festival. So that's a really good way to show that sort of promotion of yourself. This should happen early in the year as well, around February, March. And the final task was to reduce expenses. And this should be occurring monthly, along with the statistical reports from the management side. Meeting monthly, discussing finances is a really important way, and this should occur at the Fire Media headquarters.
To assist fire's management in organizing and controlling, the firm should take several costs into account which can hinder the festival from its maximum profit. The most significant one would be sunk cost, which are associated with officials need to run the event and may have to be borne by the event organizer. Even events participants are generally responsible for their travels and accommodations costs, especially for the fire festivals. McFarlane has promised to rent a private island, which will cost an excessive amount of funds and drive him into a huge debate later on. Even though his marketing teams has successfully promoted event and gained massive attentions, the expenditure promotions such as advertising and hiring influencers have the cost of most of the organization's funds and may him run out of money. Nevertheless, this kind of uncoverable and psychological barrier that tied people to unsuccessful endures simply because the committee is resourced to it. Besides that, McFarlane has also chose the organizers and unrealistic events instead of investing his money to other kind of business with less risk, which is called opportunity costs. In any business, strategies, actions that invent are key to profitability. Considering the cost associated even with the wise decisions, it's important to decide going forward. While this opportunity cost definition classify reference business strategy, it may also be applied disadvantages to personal finance decisions.
Lastly, I'm gonna talk about potential problems. Faulty logistics. Transportation of goods, food, beverages do not arrive at the venue at the specified time. Venue might need to be changed due to an unforeseen circumstance, such as increase in customer demand, weather, or contract with the venue provider is cancelled. Financial. There may be financial issues due to the finance department miscalculating the intended budget for the event. Therefore, they will need to assess the situation and determine the best approach to gather necessary funds needed for the event. Catering. There might be insufficient resources, since the catering company may not have prepared enough food or beverages for the guests. Safety issues. McFarlane will need to implement barricades and security measures to prevent incidents from occurring at the fire festival. That brings us to the end of the presentation. Thank you for watching.